Ed Sheeran A+, an unauthorized biography of Ed Sheeran's rocky road to success. This book was written by David Nolan in the style of a purely factual play-by-play description of what went on all throughout Ed Sheeran's life. Nolan thoroughly describes the events by bringing in outside information from sources such as Ed's family, people he knew growing up, and even some quotes from Ed himself.
I'm Ed Sheeran, I'm from the United Kingdom, and I'm a singer-songwriter.
Ed was born on February 17, 1991, in a small artistic town called Hebden Bridge. He was raised in a very creative family by his parents Imogen and John with his brother Matthew. His parents' job as art consultants meant regularly traveling across England with their two sons in tow. These long car rides are where Ed's musical passion began.
When I was very young, I had massive blue NHS, which is National Health Service, specs, and a massive stutter. I was just a very, very weird kid, and I didn't really fit in.
To be closer to work, the Sheerans moved to a small town in Suffolk called Framlingham. As his love for music began to grow, his efforts in school began to suffer, and soon he would write his first song.
And then I got into Damien Rice and Niz Loppy and Bob Dylan and Van Morrison and all those kind of singer-songwriter people, and started writing tunes.
While attending school, Ed began to play a gig a month around his hometown, and school became less important.
I wasn't very good at it, but it was all a big learning curve, and the more I kind of worked at it, the kind of better it became. Kind of practice makes perfect.
Finally, he released his first EP, The Orange Room, with songs like Moody Ballad of Ed.
I got heavily into a band called Niz Loppy, went on tour with them as their guitar tech, kind of learnt how to play live and write songs.
Soon after, Ed released his second EP album, The Ed Sheeran Album, with songs like Open Your Ears.
Listen to me, yeah. Stop making me see what I've been waiting for.
At 16, Ed made the choice to drop out of school and fully pursue his musical dream.
My parents did want me to kind of finish school and go to university and stuff like that, but they were always really, really supportive of me doing music.
He then made the decision to take it a step further, leave Suffolk behind, and move to London to be closer to the music scene.
I think if I hadn't moved to London, I'd still be playing music. I just don't think I'd be doing it at the same capacity. I think it would be more of a hobby rather than a job.
He began to play gigs all throughout London while moving from couch to couch. After many gigs, he was beginning to build up a fan base, but unfortunately he was still moving from sofa to sofa, never really knowing where he would end up next. Amidst his hectic schedule, he released his next EP album, Want Some, with songs like You Break Me.
You still seem to stun me. This pain has outrun me. You are all I have left.
Ed ended up playing over 300 shows throughout his time in London, some to large crowds and some to just 3 or 4 people. It was all about the experience.
Dad said to be the best at what you do, you have to take someone that you admire and double your effort. Most people that I looked at were doing around 200 gigs a year, so I thought, I'll do more.
For the amount of fame he had acquired, it was a shock to most people that he still had not been signed by a record company. With the help of producer Jake Gosling, Ed released another EP, You Need Me, featuring songs like Be Like You.
I'll stop eating food and I'll squeeze into a dress so I can be like you, and then I'll see your bitterness.
Soon he scored a job as opening act for Just Jack. And then he released yet another EP, Loose Change, with songs like Homeless.
It's not a homeless life for me. It's just I'm homeless than I'd like to be. And it's not a homeless life for me. It's just I'm homeless than I'd like to be.
Ed decided to grab his rucksack and fly to LA.
I've found every single city to be the same as London. When you have one contact that can spider web and you can play a gig a night easily. You just ask places to play and you just turn up and play. So I thought I'd take that risk with LA and it paid off.
It especially paid off when Ed found himself being noticed by Jamie Foxx and being invited to his home studio.
Yeah, that was quite a unexpected, surreal thing. But yeah, I ended up, he offered for me to go and record at his house and hang out there, and it was really nice.
Ed went on Jamie's radio show and performed his now very popular song, You Need Me, I Don't Need You, which went over very well.
Now I'm in town, break it down, thinking of making a new sound, playing a different show every night in front of a new crowd, that's you now. Child seems to love is great now, see me lose focus as I sing to you loud.
Soon Ed returned to Britain and released his next EP, Songs I Wrote with Amy, featuring songs like Cold Coffee.
She's like cold coffee in the morning, I'm drunk off last night's whiskey and cold.
Afterwards, Ed went on tour with dance rapper Example, and they became close friends.
Nando's from me, fat chance I got a black card. If you come to me and ask for chicken, you'll get a fat scar.
My tongue is on fire.
Then Ed released his next EP, Live at the Bedford, which featured live recorded tracks of his previous songs. Following that, he released his next EP, Number 5 Collaborations, which was an album full of collaborations with the UK's greatest grime artists. Finally, after years of hard work, Ed was signed by Atlantic Records. Because he worked as an independent artist for so long, he was able to continue calling the shots in his career. Directly afterwards, Ed began to work on his first debut album, Plus, with Jake Gosling.
Topics that I touch on in Plus, I guess like most of it was in the relationship that I was in from kind of school. Most of the album was about her.
On the 12th of June, 18 was released as his first single, and it quickly rose to number 3 on the UK charts.
Like the 18 was about a woman that I met when I was doing a gig in a homeless shelter.
Plus was released on September 12th and quickly rose to number 1 on the UK charts. It had various songs like
Wanna be drunk when I wake up. You and I ended over you and I. Maybe I'm just in love when you wake me up. You were just a small bump unborn. This city never sleeps.
The next single was Lego House, where Ed poked fun at his common comparison to another red-haired celebrity.
And it's dark in a cold December, but I got you to keep me warm.
Ed built up a friendship with the band One Direction, and they used a song he wrote on their album, Up All Night.
Next song we're going to sing for you was written by a good friend of ours, who some of you may know. His name is Edward Sheeran, and this is Moment.
In the past year, Ed has gone from amazing achievement to amazing achievement. From the Brit Awards,
I just want to thank, let's see if I remember, my family who are here tonight, my friends, my fans.
an American tour with the band Snow Patrol, performing at the Queen's Jubilee,
They say she's in the class 18, stuck in her daydream.
releasing his album in America,
To release an album in America and have it go straight in at number 1, I'm interested to see how long it can stay there for.
performing at the Olympics, and receiving a Grammy nomination with a special performance with Sir Elton John. He has come so far, and it's clear he will go nowhere but up from here. I love Ed Sheeran because with him it's not about the flashing lights or expensive clothes, it's about the music. Ed has proved to me that you don't have to stick with the crowd to make an impact. Sometimes all it takes is the determination to work towards something until you can make it happen. And whenever I see Ed up on stage with his baggy sweatshirt and half-size guitar, I know that no matter what, with a spark of passion and the will to mold it into hard work, you can achieve anything. Thanks, Ed.